Page 5, Quasi Adagio. It's a short little piece by Bartók. You can look at the dates in there and see when he lived. So let's look at this. 2/4 time, no sharps or flats, but there's accidentals around. Right hand first, slowly. Starting out with 1 and 5, that puts you in this position. You may not stay here, but that's where you're starting. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. And all I'm trying to do is get the notes and the rhythms. Not worried about any of that other stuff right now. That's pretty much it for the first line. And the second line, now watch this fingering, it changes. 1. See, we just changed. Now, there's a couple reasons it might happen. I'd like you to understand the fingering and why did we change fingers? What? Well, there's a couple things. One of the things is that when you play repeated notes on a piano, many times it is a good habit to use different fingers on repeated notes. Doesn't matter what the fingers, it depends on the situation. So you might use different fingers. That's rather than the same finger each time. I don't recommend it, especially in a fast piece. Doesn't work. Well, on the 2nd 2/8 notes, you have a 2 and a 3. That works out very well. I like that. But what they don't do is on the first 2 C's, you're using the same finger. So that kind of, why change it on the second? If you're going to use the same one, in my mind, you would do the first C's, the 2 C's, maybe a 3-2, and then maybe a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, something like that if you were just doing it to change fingers. The other way we might do that, a reason we might change fingers like that is because we need to change hand positions. We need to move around a little bit. So we're in here to start, and when we do that, that puts us in this position. And this is a way we can move hand position, change. The only problem I have with that is there's no reason to change hand positions here, because if you look over the last 2 measures, you ought to be back up into this position again. So I don't know why they're changing fingers here. I like it because it works. I mean, it's fine. I just don't understand the reasoning. Then in the last 2 measures, then you go back to the thumb again, like we did at the beginning. Now, 3rd line down, last 2 measures, you're doing it again. And this time you can stay there. You don't have to go back up, because A is all you get after that. And the A is tied on forever. You can see how they're all tied together. In the left hand, let's look at this, because we want to do this legato connected. They have you doing a 5-2 and a 3-1. And this is tricky because you need to get the notes down at the same time. I'm not very good at that, but maybe you can. Because this is, can you get those down? It's hard to do. Now the fingering some people might use, if you don't want to use the thumb, some people have fat fingers. They don't want to put a thumb on a black key if they don't have to, because the other finger won't fit. In that case, you can do a 5-1 and a 3-2 here. Assuming that, because if your fingers are fat enough not to fit, then your hand's probably big enough to handle this. If your hand's a little one and you don't have a problem, then this fingering is fine, they show in the book. Now, I leave that up to you. It's a personal thing. You or your teacher will tell you what to do on that. And that's really what you're getting for the first 2 lines. And then in the 3rd line down, you look at the 3rd measure, you're starting out that way. And then we're here. And then a 3-2, we got to connect this. And then you can lift up. And then a 4-1 to connect them. And the last line, we're back to this thing. So the fingering you're going to have to make fit for you, but the one in the book is fine, or the suggestion I made works too. The kicker is, what do you use on the technique to get from here to here and get them down at the same time? Because it's hard to do. Well, I use weight when I push notes down. I don't just hold the hand still and try and use the fingers. So all I'm doing is transferring weight from these fingers to these fingers. So I'm going here to here. I'm thinking about this. Transferring weight there, kind of a roll. You can't see it because it's real small, but that's really. And the other finger's going along. It's just there. Is how I do it. You'll have to work out a system that works for you, but practice that and get those down at the same time. Don't use the attitude like, well, it's not quite happening, I'll get it later. Big mistake. Take some time and get it now as best you can. It may not be perfect, but try and get it as best you can. Now we put the hands together. Slowly. Make sure you hold these half notes down the full 2 counts. One, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. That's pretty much it. The last line down there, you're holding it down in the right hand while you're doing this. And then you have to play the A again. And then you're holding it down, and then eventually you play the left hand again. Yeah, nice, sort of. Okay. Now, add in the phrasing. See, I do this one thing at a time. I don't tackle everything all at once. So the phrasing, both hands have phrasing. So it's a little up and down between the phrases. So you work that out on the phrasing, and then you can go back and add the dynamics. Well, it's P at the beginning. That's the melody. That's the right hand. How loud is the soft going to be? Keep the left hand under it. Keep the left hand soft. We want to hear the right hand, so don't let the left hand overpower it. Then on top of that, they put in these crescendos. And the swell, I call it. You're swelling up and coming down. Look in the middle of it, and you'll see it's the E in the second measure. That's where we're headed. That's where you want to go. And it's more in the right hand than the left. Just keep the left hand soft. Then come back down. Then do it again. Now, on the last 2 measures, the first line, go back up to about a medium soft, and so you got more room to get softer, because if you're soft here and you want to get softer than that, you're running out of soft. I mean, it's too soft. So, and the second line now is going to be soft, or very soft. Except in the second measure, the second line on the note, the second A has that little caret. That is a strong accent. Okay, which is handy because that note has to ring out for over 2.5 measures. While you're doing this in the left hand, we still want to hear that A. So you got to give it a little extra oomph. Not a lot. Nothing in this piece is loud, so it's just there. And then when you start in the last 2 measures, it's like it was at the beginning, soft. Now, and the third line down is similar to the second line. You're starting, but I recommend you come back up to medium soft. And so you got more room to get soft. And that last note in that line is that accent again, because it's got to hold out this time for 3.5 measures. And then the left hand's very soft. And it's phrasing. Lift up, and then hold it down, and then the left hand again softly. Or very softly. Whatever. How loud you play that left hand at the end, the A should still ring out. We want to be able to hear that all the way through. That's sort of what it is. It's just a gentle piece, a good piece to fall asleep to. I wouldn't play it much faster than I've been playing it for you here. I like to do a play with me here. I'm going to go slow, very slowly, and have you check your notes and rhythms. I'm not doing the dynamics. I will do the phrasing, I'm just not doing the dynamics. So I'm going to give 2 counts, 2 quarter notes, or 2 beats in a measure, and we'll play it together slowly, very slowly. Ready and go, and. One, and 2, and. One and 2 and 2 and tie and 2 and